Welcome back to the FPL Hive, where we're looking at the top 10 transfers in for Game Week 4. Should you buy, wait, or avoid? So the first player we are going to look at is Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth, a player that is on a lot of people's minds at the moment. Game Week 4, home fixture as well against Brighton, South Coast derby. Should we buy, wait, or avoid? What's your thoughts on Semenyo, Baines?
I think for me, it has to be a buy. I think going into the season, we had a lot of concerns about Bournemouth because they had quite like a reshuffled, especially back line. But I think going into the season, we come to realize very quickly that personnel is probably less important with these sides. It's more about the tactical setup by Iraola. And Semenyo still going into the season, he's still getting chances. Even against Spurs, you were there at the game. He was probably unlucky not to get a return. There was a beautiful ball in by David Brooks as well at
Should
one
have
point for the
scored.
Semenyo header. He's still getting plenty of chances. I know he obviously got a blank against Spurs, but the first two games, returns, third game, blank. You can't expect Semenyo to return every single game, but I think he's looking very good.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And I think when I watch Bournemouth live at Spurs, he's so important to what they do when it's going forward. I know David Brooks plays on the other side, but a lot of the forward momentum comes through Truffert and Semenyo down the left-hand side. And I think, look, Semenyo is not even just the perfect buy for now. He's the perfect buy for the next, 5-6 game weeks. Bournemouth have, Brighton in the league. They've got Newcastle, Leeds coming up, Fulham. There's a lot of good fixtures that you look at and you're thinking, yeah, do you know what? Semenyo is going to get points in some of them games. And I'd rather be with him at 7.4 than against him because I think he could be the difference between losing rank and gaining rank. I'd rather get on it now than not have him at all.
So the next player is Ekitike, a brilliant fixture in Game Week 4 against Burnley. Ty, what are you thinking?
If you want him for a 1 week punt, I would buy. But long term, I'm not sure about Ekitike. I feel like if you wanted him, it was at the start when he was scoring and getting the minutes. But now with Isak there, Isak we know is not going to start against Burnley. Ekitike is 100% going to be leading that line. But when you've got Everton coming up and then the games after, Isak is eventually going to start. And I don't think it'll be long for him to get up to scratch. And then it's going to be Ekitike and potentially Cody Gakpo battling it out for that left wing spot. For 1 week punt, if you're on a free hit, or you may be on a wild card and you got, a way of getting him out, then yeah, I think you can buy Ekitike. But for now, if you're going to be transferring Ekitike in, I'm just not sure because long term, I don't think I feel safe with his minutes.
But realistically, yeah, I was thinking, do you expect Isak to play before the next international break or to start before the next international break? For me, I think the answer is no, because he's lacking match rhythm. Even for Sweden the other day, he didn't start.
He didn't come on.
Liverpool's next 3 fixtures are Burnley, Everton, and Palace, especially the first two. Those fixtures are there to target.
I get it. You think his first start could maybe come against Southampton in the EFL Cup? That's when you're looking at it. They've got Burnley, Champions League, Everton, Southampton in the Cup, and then Palace. That's 3 weeks. To be fair, like if you were to go with Ekitike maybe for 3 weeks then, and then looking at maybe wildcarding, it could be a punt that really works for the next 3 weeks. Because then if you've still got your wildcard and your free hit, then yeah, it could work. I'm kind of just in the balance camp. If people go for Ekitike, I'm not going to say you're mad. And if people decide, nah, do you know what? I'm going to wait out and just see what happens. Then I also think you're fine to do that. So yeah, it's you're in the buy camp, aren't you? You're thinking if people don't have him, they need to buy him, don't you?
Nah, I'll probably still say avoid, but I'm with you. Like if you're buying him, I can kind of understand the reasoning, but at the same time, I don't really like locking in transfers, especially this early in the season. Because realistically, 3 weeks' time, we've got another international break. You don't know what's going to happen with injuries. That's why I'm like, you'd rather just avoid, save the transfer, or use the transfer elsewhere where you know the guy's guaranteed minutes.
And the thing is, a lot of people have probably got Gakpo or Salah anyway, or even Florian Wirtz. And even though he's had a poor start, these are the type of games he might now return. I feel like if you've got a Liverpool asset, you've got someone already anyway. So I feel safe. I've got Cody Gakpo in my team, of course, as everyone knows from the start of the season. And I'm happy with him. He's been contributing, not playing the most amazing, but he contributes. That's all you need in FPL. Doesn't matter about playing more, it's about getting points.
So I'm going to say avoid. What are you going to go with?
I'm going to go with avoid then.
So the next player is Enzo Fernandez. Hi, what are you thinking with the Chelsea midfielder?
I'm not getting him in my team. I know Cole Palmer's out at the moment. Cole Palmer, I expect to be back in the next couple of weeks, if I'm totally honest. The interesting thing for me was Enzo Fernandez being on pens against Fulham. I think that would be the upside from having Enzo Fernandez in your team, is that potentially while Palmer's out, we now know that Enzo Fernandez is going to be on the pens. But look, I'm comfortable with Joao Pedro. I'm happy having Joao Pedro. You know, Chelsea have got decent enough fixtures. They've got Brighton at home, they've got United away, and they've got Brentford away next, which is a West London derby. But I just feel like when I make that transfer, am I making it convinced that I'm getting returns? I don't know. So for me, I'm not going to go near Enzo Fernandez personally. I feel like you might have something different to say.
I think he's a good buy. You know, right now, like obviously he's only been 3 games, but he has the most points in FPL from midfielders. I think last season we saw Enzo Fernandez in a more advanced role for Chelsea in possession. He got 6 goals and 8 assists last year in FPL. So I think, like I said in my video about Enzo Fernandez, look at what Chelsea are doing on the football pitch and don't look at the lineup on paper. Because on the lineup on paper is playing next to Caicedo. But in reality, that's not the case when Chelsea have the ball. And one thing, like we saw, even the goal that he scored against West Ham, he has that little like box crashing ability now, kind of thing, isn't it?
He does arrive late in the box. Yeah,
he has like he times his runs very well. He's getting himself into good positions. Obviously, like you said, penalties. Like for me, what's not to like?
I hear it, but I already have Joao Pedro. I think it's more appealing when you don't have a player of that team. But I'm very comfortable with having Joao Pedro, who's going to be playing 9, or if not playing in the 10 role anyway. And I feel like he's given me enough returns. But then if Chelsea don't have a great game, I might potentially have 2 players that are blanking. And that's something that I don't like personally.
But Ty, that's you. Some people don't have Joao Pedro. So if we're looking at Enzo as like a standalone asset, I think he's a buy.
I understand that. Okay, put him in the buy then, because I'm sitting here from a Joao Pedro standpoint, where some people might be putting him in from not having Joao Pedro, and you're just thinking overall. You spoke about the positives and the upsides. I'm personally going with no, I won't go for him, but you're going with buy. So let's go with play advantage to the striker. Let's go with a positive spin.
So the next play is Jack Grealish coming off back-to-back games with 2 assists. Ty, what are you thinking now?
He's a buy. Yeah, I look at Grealish every week and I'm like, why have I not got him yet? Because there's one thing about Jack Grealish that I think is very different, by the way, to a lot of Premier League players. And that is, no matter who he faces, he can always return. Whether it's even Liverpool or Manchester City away or Chelsea away, the way he plays, he's always able to probably contribute to a game. And that's why I think, I look at Grealish at the moment and he's playing with a smile on his face. He's even said that himself. He's getting licensed to roam. He's getting in dangerous positions. Everton fans are loving him. He's getting 90 minutes nearly every game. I think he's a buy. And you look at Everton's fixtures, obviously, they've got Aston Villa at home. Then they've got the Merseyside derby away. But then after that, they've got West Ham at home. And then they've got Crystal Palace at home. Now, when you look at them 4 fixtures, the Liverpool game he might not return in, but you never know. It's the type of game he might do something for Everton, and Liverpool haven't been the best defensively, but he's got 3 home games there. And if Everton are going to be scoring or at least trying to win them games, Jack Grealish, for me, is going to be contributing somewhere. He's going to be involved. So for me, yeah, he's a buy.
I think everyone knows how much I love DEFCON points, innit? And Grealish, the last 2 games, he played 90 minutes. He's been on 11. So he's only 1 away from hitting that small threshold, isn't it?
Him and Elliot Anderson.
And I think right now, when you watch Grealish, and he had the same thing at Villa as well, he's the Everton's main talisman kind of thing, isn't it? Like everything you know is going to go through Jack Grealish. And I think that helps with the bonus point system when he's going to be the one getting the ball for chances created, shots on goal kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why I'm with you. Jack Grealish has to be a buy.
So the next player we are looking at is Mark Guehi. He was meant to be a Liverpool player. However, he remains at Crystal Palace as a captain, coming off a 15-pointer away at Aston Villa, which was monumental for people that owned Guehi. It's very much a differential. But looking ahead now, are people going to jump the gun and try and buy him now he's in the top 10 transfers? You're looking at Sunderland at home. You're then looking at West Ham away, Liverpool at home, and then Everton away. Buy, wait, or avoid, Baines?
I think I'm a big fan of Crystal Palace assets right now in FPL, innit? So that's a positive. But at the same time, Mark Guehi, why would you buy him in ahead of the likes of Chris Richards or a Lacroix or a Munoz? Especially Chris Richards, who's around the same price. Realistically, Mark Guehi's not going to score a goal every single week, innit? So let's rule that factor out in terms of that 15-pointer.
Yeah.
I'm looking at now DEFCON, comparing Guehi's DEFCON compared to Chris Richards. And Chris Richards rates much, much better in the DEFCON system. Even Lacroix, if you're looking at the 5 million price tag, performs much better when it comes to DEFCON. So I don't really see the reasoning if you're going to go with a Palace defender to go with Mark Guehi, personally.
So we're looking at Alexander Isak next, the Premier League record player from Newcastle joining Liverpool. Now, we know a lack of minutes, a lack of game time, but he's going to be eager to make an impression. He's going to be eager to get on that pitch and showcase to Liverpool fans what he can do. When you look at the fixtures next, Burnley away, Merseyside derby at home, and then Crystal Palace away in the league. Would you buy, wait, or avoid Alexander Isak?
I think there's going to be a point where everyone's going to have Alexander Isak in their teams, in it. But in my opinion, that shouldn't be now. You should be avoiding Alexander Isak. You said it. He hasn't really played for Sweden. He hasn't had a preseason. So realistically, where Liverpool are fine in the forward areas with Ekitike, Gakpo, Salah all scoring, what's the point of bringing Isak into the starting 11 anytime soon? If that makes sense, isn't it?
Yeah.
And of course, the next 2 fixtures for Liverpool are nice with Burnley and Everton. But we're expecting limited minutes for Isak. Game week 6, he could start against Crystal Palace. That's the difficult fixture on paper. Game week 7, Chelsea away. Chelsea are probably one of the better sides in the league. In my opinion, you shouldn't be buying Isak until game week 8 when he has United. That's the fixture to target.
I'm tempted to agree with you on avoid, but I'm just going to go with wait for now because I don't expect him to get any minutes against Burnley on the weekend, if I'm honest, even though he's going to have more training under his belt. I think the Merseyside derby could potentially be a moment where he does get slight minutes off the bench, maybe 15 minutes. We never know. I think Liverpool will be targeting the Southampton game at home in the EFL Cup, where he can get at least 60 minutes into his belt. That's the 23rd of September. So we still have a couple of weeks now for him to train, get some match rhythm and go from there. I do think that against Crystal Palace on the 27th of September, he could get some more minutes because they do play Galatasaray in the Champions League only 3 days after. And they might be looking at the Galatasaray game as a slightly tougher fixture. Ekitike can play in that with the European now, and Isak could start, but he's definitely got to go on the wait list because I don't think it's going to be too long before he's in. Some people might try and jump the gun early, and even if he comes off the bench, some people will say, look, he can come off the bench and still score, even if it's 10 or 15 or 20 minutes. So I think that's the positive with Isak. He doesn't need loads of minutes to impact. He can make an impact within 10 or 15 or 20. But I'd put him on the wait for now. But I think in 3 game weeks from now, he is going to be one of them hottest options out there. So I'm going to go with wait. Now, the next player we're looking at is a defender. We've already talked about the upside, about Semenyo and his fixtures from an attacking standpoint for Bournemouth. But from a defensive standpoint, do you think any of their assets are ones that we should be looking at? The one we're going to speak about now is Marcos Senesi. Baines, is he a buy, wait, or avoid for you right now for FPL Game Week 4 and beyond?
Ty, I think this is the best 4.5, 4.6 million pound defender that you can get in FPL right now. First 3 games, let me list you his DEFCON points. 15, 14, 14. He's a DEFCON monster. And I think a lot of people probably, let's say, downplay Bournemouth or downplay Senesi because he didn't play much last year. I think he was injured for a large portion of the season, innit? But you know the year before, Senesi got 4 goals and 5 assists from centre-back. So this guy's a box presence in terms of attacking point of view. He's a DEFCON monster. We know Bournemouth are decent defensively, already keeping 2 clean sheets. Again, what's not to like? So the next player is Joao Pedro. Ty, 63.8% ownership right now, and people are still buying him in. What's your thoughts?
He's a buy. I think it's simple. At the price point, the impact he's having, contributing for Chelsea, he's the main guy right now in terms of their forward line. He's the one in form. He's the one, the threat. He's the guy that he's their go-to. And this is Chelsea, a team that are going to create chances, a team that are going to win games. I think it's a no-brainer, really. Joao Pedro, if you haven't got him, get on the train now before you miss the next station. And now we're looking at another Liverpool attacker. We've got Ekitike, we've got Isak, and now we have got Cody Gakpo. Obviously, a player that's guaranteed to start at the moment, locked in on the left-hand side. However, the same thing we mentioned with Ekitike, potentially in the future, it might be a minute's risk. But with Burnley at home and Everton coming up, is he still a buy option, Baines?
See, the fixtures are very good, but I don't know if I would buy him right now just because obviously the uncertainty with the Liverpool front line. But at the same time, there is a part of me that thinks, are we underestimating Gakpo's minutes when Isak eventually starts? because Gakpo is still the only natural left winger, if that makes sense. So I don't know, Ty. What do you think?
Do you think it's? I think it's one of these ones. If you've got Gakpo, you're in a lovely position because you already own him. If you don't have him, you're thinking, is it worth the transfer? There's a lot of upside with putting him in, but there can be downside too. So that's why it might be, should you wait? But then again, it's Burnley and Everton, and they're two type of games you want to attack. But let's not disrespect Everton. The second game of that fixture is going to be tough with a Merseyside derby. So really, you're only looking at the Burnley game as right. Okay, Gakpo could really get some points. So actually, no, I'm going to put him in the wait.
I don't think you can wait though. I think it has to be either buy now for that Burnley fixture or avoid, and you're going to just wait until Isak comes in, and how that Liverpool front line.
Well, I don't base my FPL season on making a transfer for one game week, so that means I'll go avoid. And last but not least, we're looking at Ricardo Calafiori from Arsenal. Now, they were so close to getting a clean sheet at Anfield, but they didn't, so it's irrelevant. But you're looking at Arsenal now with Nottingham Forest. They've got Manchester City coming up. Is it the right time to look at Arsenal defenders? Personally, I don't think so. But do you agree with me?
I almost think Arsenal's defense is fixture proof, you know. Like, it don't matter who they play, they have a good chance of a clean sheet because they are the best defense in the Premier League by far.
Yeah, they are.
And I think one thing we probably underestimated was his minutes. So against Liverpool, he got 90 minutes. Against Leeds United, he got 63, but at the same time, he had already got 2 assists by that point.
Yeah, got the clean
Against
sheet.
United, he scored, got a 13-pointer, got 71 minutes. So his minutes haven't been horrible. And we know, say if he comes off after the 60th minute, Arsenal have a good chance of that clean
Having
sheet.
a clean sheet. Yeah.
And I feel like Nottingham Forest is a decent enough fixture, if that makes sense, isn't it? From a defensive point of view.
It's a game they should be winning. It's just a game I don't know if they win and don't concede one goal. But then you look at the Manchester City game and the way they've started the season, they've been poor. They're going to need to come down and at least score a goal. So I would put him in the wait category just because I want to wait for Arsenal's fixtures to calm down slightly. And I know that there is a little bit of a swing after a few more game weeks. So I'm going to put him in the wait.
Yeah, game week 7 is when Arsenal's fixtures really get better. So, listen, I understand what you're saying. Let's put him in wait for now.
So this is our roundup of the game week 4 transfers in. Should you buy, wait, or avoid? FPL game week 4 is coming up, so make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with me or Baines? Let us know, and we'll see you on the next video.